Hi everyone, my name is Ben. I'm the creator of Positively Oriented, and if you guys like what I do, please like, subscribe, and comment below. See if you want to also be a participant in these interviews. Additionally, I want to give everyone a forewarning that my haircut, even right now, not great, but my haircut in this video was atrocious, and it is what it is. Life is what it is. Anyways, I hope you guys like the content and enjoy. Hi everyone, my name is Ben and this is Positively Oriented. Today I am joined with Abby. And Abby, I think it would be appropriate to start off with telling a little bit about yourself and your story.
Sure. I'm Abby. I also recently started going by Anwei, so I answered to both. Um, just a synopsis of my life is I was adopted in China, in Bangbu, which is part of Hefei Anhui province. When I was like 14 months old, give or take. We, of course, don't know my actual birthday, but that's what all the paperwork says. They think I was about 2 months old when I was found at a train station and sent to the orphanage. I also grew up as a TCK, which gets really complicated, which is third culture child. So I didn't grow up in the United States, even though my parents are American citizens. I actually grew up mostly in Europe with also the South Pacific. And then before the age of, I don't know, 15, 16, the only like residential I had been in the US was Northern Alaska. So I don't really count that either. Yeah. And then I came to the US for like the last half of high school because it's easier to graduate out of a US high school system to get into college, which I was looking at going in the US. So then I bounced around and now I work in healthcare and here we are.
I see. So when it came to bouncing around from place to place, what was the general like experience with that? What was some of the adversities that you faced,
Mhm.
and what were some of the like big takeaways?
Yeah. Adversities, I would say, is every time I moved, your entire life changes. My friend groups would change, my school would change, and it's not like we weren't moving, 2 states away. We were moving continental countries. So even the local cultures were different. So, for example, I was in what is that, first and second grade in Kiev, Ukraine. So the primary language there was Ukrainian and Russian. I did go to an international school, so it was taught in English. Um, so that was good, and that stayed the same. But then when we left 3 years later, and I did like 9 years in the South Pacific, that was also taught in English, but the South Pacific culture is completely different from the Russian and Ukrainian culture. So adapting to that is definitely a change. But I think growing up the way I did definitely gave me like a really healthy value in differences as cultures from languages and food and religion and people's like thought process and how they come to their own opinions and their values.
Hmm.
Um, I do feel like I'm incredibly open minded, credited to the way I was raised. I mean, I was always 9 times out of 10 still the only Asian in the room. Um, that was always fun. I'm trying to think like racial wise disparities
Hmm.
when I first recognized that I was different. I mean, I always knew I was adopted. My parents are white and I am Asian, so it's very clear. But growing up, people would always ask my parents if they were going to tell me I was adopted, and they're like, "Well, she already knows." Um,
Yeah.
but I was young. I was maybe 4 or 5 when I first realized, oh, I'm different. Like culturally, people are pulling back their eyes and chink and all of that. So
Yeah,
that's a hard thing to go through when you're 4, but I mean, it's hard for anybody. So
absolutely. So do you speak any other languages besides English? Do you speak any Ukrainian?
I have one. I dropped out of my Russian class because I had enough language issues because it took me forever to learn English and reading. And
Hmm.
yeah, they thought I was premature, so my developmental process wasn't great. So they're like, let's not confuse the poor child. She's already got enough problems. So I dropped
Yeah.
out of Russian, and the one thing I learned was how to say, I don't understand you because it got the message across real clear. So I have like slang from maybe 4 or 5 different languages, or like thank you and yes. I could probably go get a quart of orange juice, but not much more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did your parents move around such drastic distances?
They both had done a lot of like aid work in foreign countries and like Africa and like they met in Somalia.
Hmm.
Um, they both worked in northern Alaska in a tiny little clinic, like tiny little village clinic. Um, so it just was kind of their lifestyle anyway. And then after that, both my parents were also in medical. So that was their job mode, I guess. That's how they moved around. So dad also was in security officer for like a regional volunteer under the US government. Um,
Hmm.
so then that became how we moved around after that.
I see. I will say that I think so. I
It's
didn't get
confusing for me too. Believe me, I lived it and I'm still like, wait, what? What did we do?
yeah. Um, yeah, I was gonna say so. English was a language that was also really hard for me.
Mhm.
I didn't move here until I was 7 years old, and so
Mhm.
I had taken extra
That makes it hard.
classes. Absolutely, I was set aside and taking extra classes in elementary school, taken away from the classroom to
And then you're
practice.
singled out, which doesn't help.
Exactly, and so it was so many of those things where it's like, okay, now I'm focusing on my language while trying to make
Yeah.
new friends.
Yeah.
Where like, because at 7 years old, you're already socially aware enough to
Yeah.
understand you want to have friends and you don't have friends, and
I'm
you're
being left
trying
out of jokes.
exactly,
I should
exactly, and
understand this, but it's snack time. It's not that hard, but if you can't communicate, it's like this whole mountain.
yeah, I have to imagine for you that because your family moved not only so many times, but so drastic cultures and languages.
Hmm.
I get that it's an advantage to have that open mindset, but then
Hmm.
it has to be a huge adversity to try and deal with always kind of like picking up your entire life and packing it up and then going to start a new life for
Hmm.
and this is an assumption where you're packing your life up and you're going to start something new, but you don't know really how long it's going to
Yep.
be, and it
Hmm.
may make you want to say, you know what, I don't really want to start making new
Yep.
friends because
Yep.
I don't know how long they're going to be in my life for.
Hmm. Yeah, I got really used to it. I was at one point I was on I'm kind of still on the like 2 year, 3 year kick where my internal clock just kind of resets and I get all antsy and I'm like, I haven't gone anywhere. I need to go somewhere. I need to do something. Or when I can't do that, I just keep cleaning my apartment. So for better or for worse. But it's just I did it for so long that every 2 to 3 years we were rotating and at one point, because we kept renewing our contract in the South Pacific. So we were the ones that were there longer. So we were
Mhm.
there 26, 9 years, 8 years, 9 years, something like that. Um, but the communities we were in, because of course there's the local community, yes, but then there's like the expat community, which is all of the international people that do that rotating schedule. So they were all in that. So I was the one who stayed. And then it
Mhm.
was the other side of the ball where, oh, well, they left. What are we doing? We're staying? Why are we staying?
As I said in the intro, if you guys like what you just saw and can really relate to Hui or Abby with her experiences, please like. And if you guys want to see more of this stuff or want to also participate in the adoption community, please comment. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.